What's up? It's your Miyahu Ben Israel. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence being used in these churches. As crazy as it is, I don't know how you can use ChatGPT in order to orchestrate a church service. I actually recorded this a little earlier, but for whatever reason, the recording stopped. But that's okay. We're gonna do this again, and I don't care. We're gonna read an article that says ChatGPT delivers sermon to packed German church, tells congregants not to fear death. The University of Vienna scholar directed ChatGPT to craft a pretty solid church service. Goes on to say, hundreds attend a Protestant church service Friday in Germany, generated almost entirely by artificial intelligence, with a sermon presented by the AI chatbot ChatGPT. Excuse me. So first off, we're going to stop right there. Now, if you believe in this false figure, JC, and you swear he's real, you swear that's your savior, you swear that he's the fulfillment of the Old Testament laws, statutes, and commandments, when there's nowhere in the Old Testament where it says, Yah says, I will go against my law, statutes, and commandments and put them all into one man. He will die for your sins. That wouldn't make any sense. Also, what doesn't make sense is this is a joke. This literally looks like some made-up fantasy, which is what it is, which is what this one of the false religions, one of the most popular false religions out there is doing. And to say that this is real and you're going to use artificial intelligence in order to orchestrate something that is supposed to be real? Come on, man. Come on, you already know what time it is. But it goes on to say, the chatbot, which presented as a black man with a beard above the altar of St. Paul's Church in Fürth, Bavaria, told the packed congregation not to fear death, according to the Associated Press. Now, as we were going over in the previous videos, for those that were keeping up, we've been talking about how they love to attack the black man. They love to, make us still, look like we're nothing. We're not on shit. None of that. And it's all part of the curses. It's all part of the sins of our forefathers, not hearkening to the words of Yahweh, his warning, saying you'll become a proverb, a byword. That's why this so-called black people are the only nation of people to be have their I guess you could say identity changed. Went from blacks to 1 century, Negro, colored, all that. I mean, come on. I don't see any other race going through that. I don't see the European man being called I can't even say. I don't even know. You've always known them as white. The same with the Chinese man. You've always known them as Asian or Vietnamese. But when it comes to these so-called black people, they're the only race of people to go through things like black codes, what else? Segregation, Jim Crow, lynchings. The list goes on. But we're going to continue with this. It says, the chatbot, which presented as a black man with a beard above the altar of St. Paul's Church in Fürth, Bavaria, told the packed congregation not to fear death, according to the Associated Press. Dear friends, it is an honor for me to stand here and preach to you as the first artificial intelligence at this year's convention of Protestants in Germany, the avatar said. As you can see, these people are taking direction from a robot orchestrating a church service, not a human who's supposed to have all this, scholar intelligence of the Bible or whatever. No, this is from a straight robot. Now, even if you're a diehard Christian, you gotta admit, that's some pretty, that's kind of scary that people are willing to listen to a robot listen to a robot preach this false gospel, this false word of Yah, compared to a black man saying that he's a Hebrew Israelite. That's what we're living in. you got people who believe that in this made up black avatar, not a real person. You see, it's an attack on the black man, his masculinity, his role when it comes to his role in society as being the top man. Because you don't see this with the white man, the Asian man, the Spanish man, none of that. It's an attack on the black man. But I'm actually going to expose that because I found some verses in the Bible. Hallelujah, shout out to the Creator, all praise the Most High for showing me this. Because again, there's always an origin to everything, and I'm going to expose that origin in just a moment here. But continues to read here. It says, Dear friends, it is an honor for me to stand here and preach to you as the first artificial intelligence at this year's Convention of Protestants in Germany, the AI Avatar setting. The service, which was attended by more than 300 people, lasted 40 minutes and featured prayers and music in addition to the sermon. University of Vienna theologian and philosopher Jonas Zimmermann, 29, used ChatGPT to craft the event. The AP reported, I conceived this service, but actually I rather accompanied it because I would say that 98% comes from the machines, Zimmermann told the AP. So as you can see, again, this I guess you can call him like pastor. I don't even know who orchestrated this in order to get like the robot to, be set up and everything. But whoever it was lazy. If you're gonna, make this look like it's realistic, you might as well be like the Flavian dynasty and work your ass off in order to make this look real. Because you're not doing your part, buddy. I know ChatGPT is supposed to make things easier and faster, but you still got to put in the work. And this right here, this ain't it. But it says the service was part of Deutscher Evangelischer Kirchentag, a popular biennial event that occurs in Nuremberg and nearby Fürth and attracts tens of thousands of Christians. Issues addressed at this event this year, which lasted Wednesday to Sunday, included climate change, the war in Ukraine, and AI. Now is the time is the theme of this year's gathering, which Zimmermann noted was one of the phrases he gave ChatGPT. When he asked the chatbot to write the sermon, I told the artificial intelligence, we are at the church congress. You are a preacher. What would a church service look like, said Zimmermann, who also requested the chatbot implement psalms, prayers, and a concluding blessing in the sermon. Zimmermann said ChatGPT ended up providing a pretty solid church service. Excuse me. Okay, so think about it. They want a robot to pray over them. They want a robot to bless them. How can you be blessed by a creature that was made by man, not Yah, not through his ordeals? Like, for example, Yah made a man and woman to procreate life, but how can you that's so twisted. That's actually demonic in nature right there, to think you can get blessed by a robot. Like, bruh, literally you could like destroy that machine and it doesn't have a soul. It's sheet metal. That's insane right there. But we're gonna go into the book of Exodus. We're gonna show why, because I was always like, why do they always show, especially when it comes to black people, they always show the black woman as the masculine role model and the black man as like some womanly role model. We're going to go in the book of Exodus, and this is going to expose everything right here. We're going to go to, I found this in Exodus 2 when I was reading the true book of Yah right here. And here's where we're going to go to. All right, now watch this here. We're going to start in Exodus chapter 2 and verse 1, where it talks about Moses, or his real name, Moshe, who was a Levite, by the way. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to him a wife, a daughter of Levi, and the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months, and when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to wit what would be done to him. And the daughters of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked over by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it, and the child grew. And she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses, and And she called his name Moses, and she said, Because I drew him out of the water. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out to his brethren, and looked on their burdens, and he spied on the Egyptians smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked his way in that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian, and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared, and said, Surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh, and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them, and watered their flock. And when they came to rout their father, he said, How is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, Where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter, and she bare him a son. And he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. And it came to pass, in process of time, that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of their bondage. And they cried, Oh, wait. We're going to keep going, but, and he cried. And their cry came up unto God by reason of the bondage, and God heard their groaning. And Yahweh remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And Yahweh looked upon the children of Israel, and Yahweh has respect unto him. My bad, y'all. I meant to go for 1, but we could still learn something from chapter 2 as well, where, as it says in verse 1 right there, it said that when Moses was born, basically, that he had to be hidden. Now, I remember sometime in the 70s, I believe, or the 80s, where they had these, persecution of the Hebrews. These people didn't know that they were Hebrews at the time, but like they were not, the crack era and all that. What did they do to the black households? They loved when the man wasn't in the house. And matter of fact, what they would do, they have, the same thing, a taskmaster, just like in Bible times. So we're going to touch on that in Exodus chapter 1, actually. I read 2, but it's okay. We can still learn from this one as well, where they wanted, when the black man wasn't in the house, they gave the black mothers more money, because that's what they want. They wanted to attack the black communities. Now, other communities, like the white community, got attacked as well, but not as much as the black community, because again, it's all part of the curses of Deuteronomy. But we're gonna go to chapter 1. Actually, I meant chapter 1. I don't know why I said chapter 2, but it is what it is. Here we go. We're going to start at Exodus 1, chapter 1. Now it says, these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all their generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased, and abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceedingly mighty with the land that was filled with them. That there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that they, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, that ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, that she shall live. But the midwives feared Yahweh, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, why have ye done this, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered, ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore Yahweh dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mightily. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Yahweh, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. And then it just so happens that in today's age, well, what are they doing? That's why they want to, especially when it comes to the letter gang agenda, they love to promote this to the black community as well. That's why the letter gang is promoted so much, because they still are doing just as it says in Exodus chapter 1, they want to kill off as many Hebrew boys as possible. Yes, that's right. Why do you think the black man is attacked the way that he is? Because it's the same thing. They want to destroy the man child and keep the women alive. That's why they set the woman on top as if she's the man, and the man at the bottom like he's a woman, because the more you mess with the man's masculinity, the more he becomes thinks lower of himself, thinks depression, thinks all this garbage, even though Yah made him to be the provider, to be the protector. I mean, you don't even got to look it up. You already know men have an alarming rate of death than women because of, these situations. I mean, even myself, I've been put in these stupid situations where, now I got to fight and I got to do all this hero garbage in order to protect the woman. Now, here we go. It's history repeating itself again. Everything has an origin, and this is the reason why there's an attack on black men. And let's keep it a buck. I mean, not everyone is like perfect and just this great person, but like, come on, man. We already know, if you know history, you can keep it a buck. When it came to things like smoking weed, or I don't know, maybe even jaywalking. I don't know. I'm a '96 baby, but like, let's just say I could have been jaywalking in 1980. I'm probably getting 50 years. I'm gonna keep it a buck. If I'm out, nice hot day or whatever, or you could have been like that man Emmett Till, who looked at a white woman and then got hung by a bunch of racist issues. You could have been as serious as that. I don't know how them times were. I mean, times today are rough, but imagine the times before that. And here we are, history repeating itself right here, where, as it says, Pharaoh wanted all the men, children to be killed. And here's where we expose these false Jews again. It's like, all right, if this is you, how come you are so abundant? How come you have Hebrew schools, which y'all took the name of the real Hebrews, and y'all done made that into like a franchise. And y'all got, again, y'all teaching your kids crypto and all, which I'm not knocking, but what I am knocking is that you done took the real name of the Hebrews, the real identity, and you done made it your own. But that's for another a video here. But I just wanted to point that out here. Just like how same in those old times in like the late 1900s, where they had like things like also crates, crack, and all these other drug paraphernalia dropped off in these black communities, and these weren't even like, matter of fact, black people didn't have a choice. We were dropped in these communities because, again, we're just coming off of slavery, and we're still like, trying to learn how to adjust to life, outside the plantation, adjust to a society where it's like, you're just now getting freedom. All right, so what? Although the Emancipation Proclamation was like I don't remember the exact month and date, but I know it's 1863, where you're still adjusting to this whole freedom thing. And not only that, but you still had things in place like, black codes that were running rampant. So even if you're like, let's just say you just got out of Mississippi, you're going to go to another place and they're still going to treat you as if, oh man, that's one of the runaway slaves or whatever. Let's get on them. Come on, man. There is nothing new under the sun. And I just wanted to point this out in using Exodus chapter 1, where it's all, man, it's all there. Like, there's nothing like new. All these things are happening today that you think are new. Nothing is new. It either has a satanic origin, biblical origin, some type of origin to where it's been done before, straight up. But I just want to point this out, especially with this AI technology. That's no different than the golden calf worship, where every time like a prophet died, the Israelites themselves would go ahead and worship it if someone wasn't checking them personally. Because everyone wants some type of leadership, whether no matter what kind of, I guess you could say, role you're in, workplace, I don't know, family, whatever it is. Everyone wants like some type of leader, and that's why every time a prophet died in the Old Testament, the Israelites would go back to worshiping other gods, just doing things that are contrary to Elohim, Yahweh. And but I did want to touch on the AI thing, because I see this being thrown around in the Christian community a lot today, and just wanted to touch on, just expose this. Coming again, you claim this is a real religion, but you use AI technology in order to, again, not just do little things like, type in some Bible verses or something for you. Nah, you straight up just get a whole church sermon being led by an artificial black man. That is ridiculous right there. And if you defend that, you too are a fool. But as Yirmiyahu, all praise to the Most High.